Welcome to another episode of Art Education by yours truly.
Now we've done about prehistoric art and medieval art. But wait, there's a gap between prehistoric art and medieval art. Guess what? That is classical art.
Before we go on to our presentation, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you may click the subscribe button and also the notifications bell. You may also like my Facebook page, The Hobbyist Artist. Our topic for today is about classical art. Classical is the term generally used to refer to the style of the ancient Greek and Roman periods. However, classical art has been revived over the years in the form of Renaissance art, baroque style, and neoclassicism. Yet, as all variations follow the principles of classical style, they remain examples of classicism. What are the categories under classical art? First, we have the Egyptian art, followed by the Greek art, and then finally the Roman art. First, we have the Egyptian art. The principal message of the Egyptian art is continuity. The Sphinx is the most important characteristic of Egyptian art. Then, it reflects stability, order, and endurance. The Sphinx was built in 2500 BCE with 6 feet in height, facing the rising sun. It seems to cast immobilized gaze down the centuries for eternity. Here's the picture of the Sphinx. The Sphinx has a body of lion with a head of a man. It is to be believed to be the pharaoh Chephren, whose pyramid tomb just nearby. About the pyramids were also outstanding structures built by thousands of peasants without using modern technology.
Egyptian pyramids were built not only by peasants, but also they were built by the slaves. They were the Hebrews during that time.
The Egyptians have also the sculpture. One is the seated scribe. This shows the Egyptian sculpture is symmetrical and proportioned, just like the sculpture of the Greeks and Romans. You can also see the details at closer look. This is one example of Egyptian paintings. These images, whether statues or relief, were designed to benefit a divine or deceased recipient. Statuary provided a place for the recipient to manifest and receive the benefit of ritual action.
Aside from pyramid, the Sphinx, sculpture, and the other architecture, Egyptians are also known for their tomb and wall painting. Usually, ito yung makikita sa loob ng pyramids. Dito, pinapakita sa isang painting ang buhay ng isang namatay. From his birth until his death. Nakapinta rin dito yung mga gods and goddesses nila. And also, may mga writings dito na tinatawag natin na hieroglyphics or hieroglyphs.
These are the Egyptian jars with design where they store the deceased internal organs.
The picture you saw is about mummification. That is the practice of ancient Egyptian during that time. About mummification, they remove the lungs, the liver, the stomach, and the intestine. Each organ has a designated jar. And guess what? Ang naiiwan lang sa katawan ng isang namatay na Egyptian is the heart. Okay? Kung nakita nyo na sa picture, ayan, ang heart ang naiiwan. So, if I discuss about mummification, mahaba-habang discussion ito, lalo na yung process. So let's go now to the other classical art.
The next one is Greek art. Greek art includes much pottery, sculpture, as well as architecture. Their architecture and sculpture have influenced the later periods in the history of Western art. Most common methods of Greek painting. Number 1, we have fresco. This is a method of painting water-based pigments on freshly applied plaster, usually on wall surfaces, just like the picture on the screen. We have number 2, the encaustic. This was developed to use by Greek shipbuilders who used the hot wax to fill the cracks on the ship, also known as hot wax painting. This involves using heated beeswax to which colored pigments are added. We have number 3, the mosaic. It is an art process where an image is created using an assemblage of small pieces of colored glass, stones, or other materials. We have the panel painting. Wooden panel found in a cave in ancient Sicyon, near the village Giza in Corinth. One of the 4 fragments found depicts a procession to sacrifice with a lamb. We have number 5, vase painting or church style. Also referred to as church vases, are red-figured pottery named after the place where it was found.
In vase painting, shapes commonly found are, may mga pangalan to, bawat vase. So one is the pelike, this is the wine container. We have the lekanis, this is a low bowl with 2 horizontal handles and a low broad foot. Next one, we have the leves gamicus. This is with a high handle and lid. This is used for a bridal bath. And the last one, we have the crater. This is the bowl used for mixing wine and water. Ito ay Greek name. Okay?
We have the Greek sculpture. Early Greek sculptures were tense and stiff. Their bodies were hidden with enfolding robes. One of the most popular styles of Greek sculpture was the Hellenistic style. Hellenistic denotes preference in sculpture for more elaborated patterns, mannered arrangements of figures and groups, and an emphasis on the representation of movement for dramatic effects. Here are some examples of Greek sculpture. This is Adonis, god of beauty in the Greek mythology.
Greeks were known for proportional sculpture and also detailed sculpture.
We have the last one, the Greek architecture. The ancient Greeks had a unique style of architecture that is still copied today in government buildings and major monuments throughout the world. Greek architecture is known for tall columns, intricate details, symmetry, harmony, and balance. The Greeks built all sorts of buildings. The main examples of Greek architecture that survive today are large temples that they built to their gods. Here's one example of Greek architecture. This is the Parthenon, one of the largest existing buildings of Greek architecture. The last one, we have the Roman art. Romans refined the technique of painting mosaics and murals and emphasized natural themes such as landscapes and narrative themes drawn from literature and mythology. The primary colors used in Roman paintings were deep red, yellow, green, violet, and black. We have the Roman paintings. These portray rituals, myths, landscapes, still life, and scenes of daily activities of the Romans. Here's one example of Roman paintings. We have the Roman sculpture. The Romans were avid collectors and imitators of Greek sculpture, just like the picture on your screen.
Roman sculpture has a similarity to the Greek sculpture. Sabi nga dito sa handout or video presentation, the Romans were avid collectors and guess what? Imitators of Greek sculpture. Okay? Nagagaya din nila yung mga gawa ng mga Greeks. Also, the name of their gods and goddesses, they were also based on Greek mythology. Like si Jupiter, we have Venus. May mga counterpart yan sa mga Greek gods and goddesses or sa mythology na yon.
And then the last one, the Roman architecture. Roman architecture continued the development of the Greek classical style of architecture, but with quite different results. Romans built great engineering work, roads, canals, bridges, and aqueducts.
If you learn something in this video, try to make one Greek vase painting. Just one of the examples here. So, maliit lang yung gagamitin natin. Pwedeng mug, pwedeng paso or flower pot. So, most of the vase painting of the Greeks were colored red and with design. Okay, they painted about the everyday life of the Greek. So, try to make some example.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and bell for notifications. And also, like us on Facebook, The Hobbyist Artist.